Do you know what people don't sit around talking about? That guy who said hello and then didn't get her phone number. Or that woman who asked somebody out and got a, oh, no, thank you. Nobody's at brunch saying, can you believe he dared to talk to me? What a fool. I mean, no, honestly, they've already forgotten about it and moved on with their day. Meanwhile, you're at home replaying it like it was a crime scene. You're dusting for fingerprints, analyzing your tone of voice, running the tape back like CCTV footage. And for what? Nobody's thinking about it but you. They're out there living their life. You're cross examining yourself like you're on trial for flirting in the first degree. And then you make the classic mistake. You decide that you're never putting yourself out there again because you can't take the embarrassment. And so nothing happens. You sit on the sidelines and hope that maybe the universe will tap you on the shoulder or drop the perfect partner next to you. But you know as well as I do, that's not how this works. Here's the truth. The people who actually find love are the ones willing to fail because they know failure isn't fatal. And if you're tired of living small or letting fear call the shots and taking yourself out of the very thing you want, this episode is for you. If that sounds at all interesting, I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. You see someone you're interested in, and before you've even had the chance to act, you've talked yourself out of it. You think, oh, they're probably not even single, or I'll look desperate if I ask for their number. Or if I flirt and they don't like me back, I'm going to be humiliated. So you don't do anything. You stay silent. You stay safe. And you stay lonely. This is the cycle that keeps so many people stuck. Fear of rejection, of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear that somebody might roll their eyes or laugh or tell their friends or think you're too much. But here's the problem. Fear doesn't actually protect you. It just keeps you invisible. And if nobody can see you, nobody can connect with you. Dating, just like everything else in life, comes down to this. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And if you think that you're protecting yourself by sitting it out, you're not. You're just watching everybody else take a spin on the dance floor while you guard the coats. And trust me, nobody remembers the coat guard. If you treat every no like it's a death sentence, you're going to shut yourself down before you even get started. So let's flip the question. What's the absolute worst that could happen if you actually went for it? You know, you ask somebody out and they say no. You flirt with somebody and they're not interested. Or you send a text and they just don't respond. That's it. You're still standing. You're fine. You didn't burst into flames. You didn't end up on the evening news. Nobody's posting your mugshot under worst flirt of the year. You just got information. And the people who can handle hearing no are the same people who end up hearing yes a whole lot more often because they're the ones who take the shot. Now, I know some of you, especially the men, are convinced that if you try and fail, women are going to mock you or humiliate you or text their friends about what a loser you are. And that is just not what's happening. In fact, most women respect a man who's willing to be clear. Hey, I'd love to take you to dinner. Are you free on Thursday? Do you know how refreshing that is? Even if she's not interested, she's likely going to appreciate that you asked instead of just hanging back and circling like a plane that's been denied landing clearance, waiting for her to figure out that you're interested. And for the women, the same is true. Men aren't sending out mass texts about how you embarrassed yourself just because you flirted or text first or made your interest obvious. That's just not a thing. The people who are mocking you for putting yourself out there are the people who are just too scared to put themselves out there, if that were even happening, and it's not. Here's the real question. What are you enjoying in life if you're living so small? I mean, hiding from failure doesn't just rob you of love. It robs you of confidence. It makes you feel invisible. And when you risk nothing for long enough, you start believing you are nothing. And that's the most dangerous lie of all. Living small doesn't just show up in dating either. It leaks into everything. You know, you don't RSVP to the dinner you were invited to because you're worried that you'll be the odd one out. You turn down the weekend trip because you just don't want to be the only single person there. You say you're fine alone, but really you're just in a long-term relationship with your, couch and your computer. And little by little, the walls close in until one day you realize that you're not even protecting yourself anymore. You're just hiding from your own life. Now, dating boldly doesn't mean you turn into some caricature of confidence. It doesn't mean bulldozing people or dropping cheesy pickup lines unless that's your thing. Doesn't mean ignoring clear signals that somebody isn't interested. That's not what I'm talking about. Hey, I saw you from across the room and you looked interesting. What's your name? It means you ask for the date. I'd really like to see you again. Do you have any plans for next weekend? It means you flirt without apologizing for existing. It means you stop hoping somebody will magically read your mind and know that you're interested, because the people who make it clear, who don't dance around it, those are the people who get remembered. And those are the people who actually get the opportunity to connect. And let me be very clear, bold doesn't mean dramatic. It doesn't mean cornering somebody at Costco with your life story and a sample of chicken sausage. It just means you risk being seen and speaking up. Yeah, I know, rejection stings in the moment, but do you know what lasts even longer? Regret. That heavy, nagging feeling of, what if? What if I just said something? What if I'd asked him out? What if I'd just been a little bit braver? And here's the cruel thing about regret. It doesn't stay small. It grows. 10 years from now, you won't remember the sting of somebody saying, oh, no thanks. But you'll remember the night you stayed silent when you wanted to speak. You'll remember the moment you let fear win. I've had clients in their 50s tell me that the hardest part of dating isn't rejection. It's knowing that they lost years to hesitation. And that's not me trying to scare you. That's me reminding you that you still have time, but not infinite time. And that's why boldness matters, because the pain of rejection, that fades. But the pain of regret, that sticks around a little longer. Here's the truth. You can stay home and play it safe and hope that somehow somebody will come down your street and to your door, ring your bell. But you already know how choosing that feels. It feels lonely and powerless. Or you can show up fully and risk the awkward hello or the no that somebody might give you. I mean, it might not go anywhere. That's the only way it ever will go anywhere. And nobody is saying that this is easy, but you know what's harder? Looking back 5 or 10 years from now and realizing you played it so safe, you never even gave yourself the chance to win. People have been doing this for years. It's not impossible. So stop letting fear make you invisible and stop worrying about looking foolish. Everybody I know who's happily partnered can tell you a dozen stories about the time they got turned down. But not one of those no's kept them from finding the yes that mattered. It wasn't the rejection that defined them. It was the willingness to keep going. I had a client, early 60s, divorced, really lovely woman. She must have gone on 30 first dates in her first year. Most of them went nowhere. A couple were disasters, but she just kept showing up. And on date number 31, she met the man that she's now been married to for 7 years. And I'll tell you this, she never remembers date number 12. Or the one who bragged about his boat for 2 hours. She never remembers number 19, the guy who told her he was emotionally unavailable, but he liked having company. What she does remember is that she didn't quit. And that one yes made all those no's worth it. That's the power when you keep on going. Here's what I would love for you to do this week. Take one bold action, just one. Ask that person out or send the text. Start the conversation in line at the grocery store. Be willing to fail at something, because the only way to win is to be in the game. And no, this doesn't mean you treat dating like a numbers game or you bulldoze through somebody's boundaries just to get your shot. It means you take intentional risks that line up with what you actually want. If you're interested in somebody, you tell them. If you want a relationship, don't stand in the wings and wait for them to figure it out. Say something. And if you're not sure where you stand, ask. Will it always go the way you hope? Oh my gosh, no. But playing it small, playing it safe, playing not to lose, that's guaranteed to fail. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be rejected 100 times than spend my life wondering what might have happened if I'd just been a little braver. I hope you found that interesting or helpful. If you did, you might want to check out this episode here. Before you go, could you please give my mom, that's my mother there, I'm crazy about the little lady, and she thinks that means that you're voting her into the Dating Advice Hall of Fame, and I just don't have the heart to tell her otherwise. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you would. Helps me out and allows me to help other people find their way out into the dating world where they might just be looking for you. Appreciate you being here today, and until next time, have a good one.